instructions, and then he said, okay, I need A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, go out there. Okay, he's saying that, girl, get out of my face. I used to get all kinds of different reactions. I did. What I had to learn, carry through on the orders, regardless of what they're saying. God is saying, carry through on what I've told you, regardless of what they're saying, and regardless of what you're hearing. Just carry through out on the orders. So as the years went by, my feelings just got so numb. It's like they would say something, I'm like, that's just what he said. It needs to be done. If he said, have everybody stand by the right door by 8 o'clock, you best better be, hey, come, can we all go over here, please? Please. So by the time that 8 o'clock comes, everybody's standing there. Apostle really doesn't care how you do it. Right. Just get it done. God really don't care how you do things. Just obey. There was one meeting we had. Apostle said, I need everyone in this building by 8 o'clock. It was in the morning. He said by 8:05, the doors will be locked. Prophetess was there at the meeting. She was sitting there looking so pretty. Everybody started running. I had my scarf on. I was running in there, having my Bible and everything, and I sat down. And then a couple of people came knocking at the door at 8:01. The apostle said, don't open that door. I'm like, ooh. Then they opened the door. They opened the door and came in. He said, I said the meeting was at 8, not 8:01. I need you to get out.
Just like that. Just like that.
And I was new into leadership. I was like, ooh, my feelings hurt. By the way he spoke to them, I was hurt. They didn't want to leave. They said, I wear pants just like you do. Then Apostle said, friend, call the police.
Oh, are you serious?
Yep.
See, I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now.
Yep. Excellent.
What God says, that's what he says.
Wow.
We can't compromise on what God is saying.
Amen.
If that's what he said, that's what he said.
Amen.
If that's what he is trying to get you somewhere, just learn to obey. I was crying. I started crying the way he said, who's that over there? I wasn't really into leadership like I was now. I was just, because I felt bad for them. But your feelings really don't matter when it comes to the instructions of the Lord. Regardless if you cry or not, it has to be accomplished. Whatever it is that he says, it will be accomplished with or without your permission. So being over operations, what I learned is just doing. That's what I learned. You're gonna run into people that are not gonna agree with the instructions. And that's the same thing with your life. You get some instructions, don't go explaining it to anybody else. Just do it. Because they're not going to understand the instructions because they were not made for them. The instructions were made for you. Now, everybody's thumbprint is different. So what God is telling me, he may not be telling you the same thing. But when he is telling you, don't compare your walk to mine. So follow the instructions that God has given you for you. Because when I started following my instructions, I had a lot of friends, and I don't have those friends anymore. Because the thing is, when we're following instructions, the ones that started off with you are not going to end up with you. So when you go to a game, right, and you start playing, and everybody is just gung-ho, and they're like, yay, come on, let's play football. You right? And it's 15 of them. By the end of the season, it's probably just 10 of them left. That's because they could not handle the endurance. They couldn't handle the pain. They couldn't handle the stretching. They thought they could, but they couldn't. And then that's how God is with us. Don't think that the person that's next to you is going to finish the game or finish the run with you. You have to learn to obey without focusing on those that are around you. And see, being part of operations, that's what you do. When an apostle give you instructions, you be so focused on, okay, let me do this, and you're really not focusing on what's going on around you. That's just me. And a lot of people's like, how can you handle that? I've been trained that way. And then I'm taking it out into the world because right now I'm managing a big practice, and I was managing up under a company. And they asked me, how can you function like that? Because I stay so calm. I be calm. Everybody else going crazy. I'm calm. Okay, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, and you need to do that. Where did I learn that from? It's here in this ministry. Something that I thought that made no sense to me is what brought me into the position where I'm at right now. That was my training. Because God said, be the salt of the world, right? Be the light of the world. How can you be a light if you haven't been trained into anything? How can you go out there and lead when you haven't even followed the leader? So in that, I appreciate Prophetess, because she don't know, but she was the one that got me started. I didn't have any emotions when I came here to this ministry. You know, and she was like, you got a lot of blockage. And I'm looking at her like, what is wrong with her? I'm going to work with you. Because, I see some things. I'm like, what is wrong with her? But she allowed God to unlock a lot of things that were held up in me that could have stagnated me from being the person that I am today. She might not know that, but I know that. And that's because I obeyed. Whenever she, I don't know if one of you had sessions with Prophetess. She'll sit there and just look at you. And then she'll put her hands like that. And you're like, okay, what's the next instruction? She said, I'm hearing from the Holy Spirit. And you know she is. But she's tapped in. She didn't understand what she was doing back then. That's because she was operating under the spirit of obedience and submitting to the Holy Spirit. Not knowing what she told me helped me. It got me started. And Apostle every Sunday. Every Sunday in every church service. But we try not to take those who are placed in leadership for granted. Because there might be things in them that you need. But the only way that you would know is if you just submit. And just trust God. Because it hasn't been working your way. So let's try something different. Let's just listen to the visionaire. And the thing is, what we need to understand is that Prophetess is the one that's praying for Apostle. So anybody that's spiritually led is Prophetess. And the one that's pushing him, like they said, behind every good man, there's a woman. The thing is, it's a praying woman. And the praying woman is the one that you want to follow spiritually. Because if her prayers, not if, but her prayers brought him through, then there's something in her that we need to bring us through. Not only do we listen to Apostle because he's the headship of God, he's talking from the throne of God, but also follow those that have been there before us. Don't look at the personality. Don't look at the personality at all, because God really don't look at personalities and behaviors. What he looks at is obedience and what you believe in. Because if you believe in God, you will walk the walk that God will want you to walk. And then if someone comes to you and asks you, how did you do it? There's no way that you can say, I did it on my own strength. No way. I cannot say that I did this on my own strength. I know that there were a lot of people that were for me